Morning, guys.
Morning.
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 Welcome to our Thursday strategy meeting. And we are streaming live just to allow everybody to kind of log on and see what we do here at Sachs Realty and the different meetings that we do. We've never really been shy about publishing what it is that we're working on and what we're doing, because, you know, if we feel that it can help, you know, many people in many different industries. So I want to just let you know, I'll be circulating here in a couple minutes. My attorney this morning did send me an interpretive guide to what we should be doing as it relates to our business and work dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. There's some updates. I guess everybody has been inundating the governor's office with questions on can they work, can't they work. So here, when we're finished up this meeting, I'll go ahead and circulate that, and so you can have a better understanding of some things that you can be doing. So, you know, I really wanted to take the opportunity, and we'll be a little interactive here like we typically are. There's certainly, I miss seeing you guys face to face in our meetings. You know, it's always fun when we're sitting in a conference room kind of hammering out some things and some best practices and stuff like that. But really, I wanted to talk about 5 top things that we could be doing right now in our business and our lives to kind of get through this this period of time that we're in, with a lot of people self-sheltering in place and staying home because of you know, obvious reasons. We're being told to do so if we can, or being asked to work from home. And really, I mean, a lot of people kind of freaked out about, you know, going out and going to the store. I know Melissa and I were talking yesterday. She had to go to the store and she wasn't really feeling very comfortable with doing that. And then in yesterday's podcast with Neil, he kind of spoke about, you know, the alarming, well, I guess it's not alarming, but a huge number of temporarily off the market listings where people are just not really wanting to, you know, to have people come through their houses. And then we've talked about some of the things that we could be implementing, you know, in our jobs with our sellers and our buyers to make it at least safer. You know, turning all the lights on, having the seller do that, making our buyers cleanse, you know, on their on their way in and on their way out. We know that our listing or our settlements, title companies are reducing the amount of people that can come to just a buyer and seller, and they're sequestering. So, I mean, we are doing a lot collectively. Like I'd said to one of our agents yesterday about closing, you can't go to the office for close. Our offices are shut down. But what I would say is defer to the title company. So if you have something that's going to settle, to defer to the title company's protocols, as well as the service providers too, in relation to inspections, things like that. If there are home inspections, call the home inspector, ask him or her what their protocol is, and follow that as closely as possible, because they're concerned about their safety and their family safeties as well. So I want to go over the top 5 things here. So recommendations for our meeting today. I also want to say that it doesn't matter if you're listening to this as an audience that no matter what industry that you're in, this will apply to you too. And really, this is going to apply to whether you're a business owner, whether you're an employee, whether you're a stay-at-home parent, or whether you're a student, a college student that is, you know, studying from home right now and getting ready to enter the workforce. So we're going to, number one is getting back to basics, business basics. And we talk about this a lot at Sachs Realty, because no matter what distractions you have, and everybody's very distracted, probably more distracted now than ever before, because there's so many different things to be distracted about. So, you know, one is being focused, right? So getting back to business, being focused. You may want to take notes, and you may, you know, take some, get some good takeaways from what we're we're going to talk about right now. But, I know, like myself, I'll log on to an email and see a service, or some type of new program that I could buy and spend money on, and I'll spend the next hour, 2 hours researching that. And it's very easy to get distracted nowadays. So number one, you want to stay focused. Um, Really establishing now how much money you want to make. And guys, these are basic business fundamentals. I want to pretend like today, no matter how long you've been in business or how long you've worked for a business, I want to pretend like today you're planning to get started. So, only you have as much experience as you have. So if you've been in business for 20 years, today you know, for this purpose, let's just pretend like you're just starting your business and with 20 years experience. Um, Somebody said to me before that one of my clients years ago that they made $1 million, they lost $1 million. When they were rebuilding their $1 million, they didn't forget how they made their $1 million. So your 20 years of experience, let's put that into play if you're starting your business from ground zero today. So how much money do you want to make? This is an important question because, when I'm meeting with you guys or interviewing agents, it's not up to me to tell you how much money you should make. Everybody has that figure in mind, what they want to make, what they like to make, and that's personal to you. The job is me as a broker at Sachs Realty is to really meet people where they are and find out what it is that they want to make, and then to help them build their goals and their strategies to get there. So, this should be something that you write down. You should put it on a piece of paper, how much money you want to make this year. Now we're into almost finishing up the first quarter of the year, but it's not too late. Let's start right now. How much money you want to finish out this year with? And then really, what do you want to do? So many of us don't know what they want to do. I see where some try and do everything. They try and do it all. Well, there's things that you like to do. There's things that you don't like to do. Let's focus on the things that you like to do. And this isn't just career oriented. What kind of things do you want to do that makes you happy? And in work, that's the same way. So when you're working, what makes you happy? Does it make you happy to work with first-time buyers? Does it make you happy to help people establish a sale price and help them sell their house for the most money? And also, who do you want to serve? We can't serve everybody. We've talked about this in our meetings before. It doesn't mean that you can't serve everybody, but there has to be a main focus of people that you want to serve. And then that will help you establish how you're going to do it. So, with this still number one, getting back to business basics, how much money do you want to make? What specifically do you want to do? Who do you want to serve? And now let's talk about how we're going to do it. Because what happens is when you establish who it is that you want to serve, you can be consistent across all of your platforms. That means you're consistent in your messaging through your emails. You're consistent with your social media postings. You're consistent with your website and your blog sites and what they say, because you're speaking specifically to the client that you want to serve. And by doing this, you're going to make it easy for people to know you as somebody, and it will be easier for them to share, because they'll be able, when they're coming across people that fall into your ideal client, they're going to share you as a resource and be able to say, look, log on to this site or go to this person's Facebook page. They're talking about exactly where you are right now and what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Now, again, this doesn't mean that you can't serve everybody. Speaking to agents, you're licensed in in our state, in Maryland. Does that mean that you should jump in your car and drive 3 hours to the Eastern Shore to sell a property? I guess it depends on how busy you are, but ideally, you're not really helping that person the way somebody that lives at the beach, who knows the beach, is really going to serve them. So, kind of zoom in a little bit. now's the time that we talk about how we get the client. So if we know who they are, we know what we want to do, how are we going to get them? So let's start strategizing, thinking about that. What type of process from start to finish your service or your product offers? So in our business, real estate, how do you start things out? Now's the time to start you're really zooming in on your processes. It's so easy sometimes when a client calls and says, meet me at a house in 15 minutes, or I want to go look at this house. And, there's a process that you may set up with your typical people. Maybe you want to sit down and have a face-to-face. Maybe then you get your pre-qualifications. Maybe then you show them houses. Maybe one of your requirements is that every decision maker has to meet you first. Set up these processes now so you know what works. If you're starting your business from ground zero, how is it that you're going to take your client from the moment they call you or the moment that you're reaching them where they are to the finish line? And really know how much you have to do to meet your financial goals. So if you want to make $60,000 a year and your average sale is $3,000 or $5,000 or $8,000, whatever it is, know how many of those you need to make so that you can reverse engineer that and really determine, how many people you actually have to worry about. A lot of times we're worrying about too much when we realize, if a real estate commission, let's say, is $8,000 and you want to make $80,000 this year, you really only need 10 sales. So if you're focusing on, not worrying about anything else but getting 10 sales and talking to the right 10 people that are in the right price category, it makes it very palatable, very easy for you to actually accomplish your goals, kind of quiet the noise. Keeping along with getting back to basics, I wanted to share a couple things that have had a lot of impact in my career and in my life. So I want to show you really 3 books, or actually this one happens to be DVDs, but you guys, take notes of this. I will also in the show notes kind of put this in there as well for you. But there's a guy that his name was Earl Nightingale. And there's a book, and this is the audio of it, called Lead the Field. This is amazing. When we talk about a lot of the motivational speakers or self-help speakers, going back, this guy is he was definitely iconic. So this is a great program to help you in your personal and your business life, a great book rather. And so try and check this out, especially while you're home, you're down. We are all, I don't care what business you're in, unless you're in the critical infrastructure world, we're all sitting around trying to be productive and make the most. The next one is this is a great book. This one's called Wisdom in Crowds. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this one before. I take the covers off of my books because I, fold them and bend them, and then I end up losing the cover or throwing it away and never putting it back on again. And then the last book that I want to show you that has really been amazing in my business life, it's not the big that eat the small, it's the fast that eat the slow. Okay, this book is amazing. So it talks about a lot of our, what we have been taught from growing up. A lot of these things stick with us. They say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never harm us. That is so untrue. The world was, the earth was made with words. Words are powerful. We can actually destroy people with words, build people up with words, make people win, make people heal with words. So we've been taught in business that through all the years that money's hard to make, it's hard to make it in business. That's a mindset. It's totally not true. The books I just gave you are really going to help you kind of unleash the power of words. Um, and when we were taught before in business that you have to crawl before you walk, that's so not true. The fast eat the slow. So you have seen small businesses completely dominate big, huge corporations. Uber is one of them. Um, Airbnb is another one. I mean, they basically single-handedly have taken down, the cab business, or the hotel business, Airbnb. I mean, it's amazing. So, it's the ability to get out and run. You know, set up your system so that you can take off. I mean, look what we're doing right now with Zoom and video, reaching larger groups of people. Number two, get healthier. So I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. So I don't want you to think that, take what I'm saying by gospel, but I can tell you that I've been fortunate enough. I've struggled with weight pretty much my whole adult life, and a little heavier than I should have been. Numbers were creeping up through the years. Started 32 waistline, 34, 38, was looking at 40, and my numbers were getting bad, medically, cholesterol, blood pressure, things like that. Wasn't eating right. I wasn't exercising right. And even when I did exercise, my eating habits and my stress level was so maxed out that it didn't matter what exercise I was doing, it wasn't enough. So I want to talk about a couple things that I've learned to lose 30 pounds in a year and really keep it off. So while we're home, the tendency is to go into the pantry and to eat more. Let's think about this as we don't want to go to the store. Well, let's ration our food like my grandparents. I lived with my grandparents growing up, and they went through the Depression, and we rationed food. I mean, my grandmother, you ate every freaking leftover, no matter how big it was. We stuck it in the refrigerator, and she made sure that she planned that we ate it. Let's talk about ways that we can get healthier. Number one is water. We need to drink more water. Water carries the nutrients to our cells, and really it helps us to get rid of toxins. It also helps us with our appetite. It curbs our appetite. It balances our blood sugar. We know that, you can read that as well. It helps us to relieve our headaches, promotes healthy skin. I mean, water just does so much good for our body, and it's probably one of the things that we don't drink enough of. Set a timer on your phone. Not only that, but don't think you're getting it in coffee. Right? I mean, I drink, people say, well, I drink plenty of water. I just add coffee to it. So better eating habits, stop snacking. Some of the nutritionists say it's good to unplug while we eat. So we're not stressed out. We're not looking at things. And when we're consciously eating, versus just scrolling, and we're just feeding ourselves, we're stress eating, and, you have no idea how much consumption, you're putting in your body. Smaller plates and taller glasses. I heard somebody say that one time. I thought that was pretty cool. For me, that used to go up for seconds and thirds, and until it was done. And really, one of the things I podcasted with a guy, hey, Jim Crowder. He's a buddy of mine. He's actually been in health and fitness. He podcasted with me. That it's on YouTube. You can check it out. He helped me actually to lose the weight because of the tips that he gave me to do. But one of the things I learned from him is eat when your body tells you you need to eat, and stretch that a little bit. Don't eat by the clock. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Oh, it's noon. I must eat lunch. So really, let's eat when our bodies tell us that we should. And one of the biggest things I learned from him is I was taught and always heard that breakfast is the biggest meal of the day. It's not supposed to be the biggest meal necessarily of the day, and not the most important. So finally, let's talk about exercise. And again, I'm not a doctor, so before you guys go jumping into exercise routine, now is not the best time to go to the doctor. But hopefully, you feel that you can do some minimal things if you're not in the best health right now or shape, that you can gradually get into more and more of it. So, let's talk about the benefits. Right now, we're going through this COVID-19 stuff. Man, I tell you what, a lot of people are battling. They have kids at home driving them nuts, spouses that are working together, or seeing a lot of each other. The stress levels can be high right now. Exercise will make you happier, even if it's just going outside and walking around your yard. It's good for your muscles and your bones. It can increase your energy level, and it really helps you to relax and can help you sleep. Lay off the booze. Guys, I hear so many of my friends are saying, well, at least the liquor stores are open, or at least I can get beer or wine or delivered to my house with my food delivery. Guys, look, we all know, alcohol is not excessive alcohol. Drinking every single day is not good for us. It's not good for it's been said, and it's been proven that it's a depressant. So, now we need to be doing things that we get us up, that help us focus to get through this next couple of weeks or months of hardship. Alcohol can lower your immune system. The experts have told us that. It certainly can mess up the way that you think. If you don't believe that, wow, ask your spouse, or ask some of your friends, what it's like being around you when you're intoxicated. And it's not good for our relationships. It's not good for our organs. They say the two most affected organs by excessive alcohol are our brain and our liver. So, it kills the neurons, the functions, I've read, in our brain. So, if we're trying to build our businesses and we're trying to, be better employees and actually help the business succeed so that we can benefit more from it, we need to be mindful, reduce that alcohol consumption, and then really be more spiritual. Now's the time to be in touch with God. Read the word, spend time in the scripture, meditate, really focus on, what your purpose is, kind of relax and bring it all into perspective when everything is blowing up or seems to be blowing up. You may be a landlord. Some of us are landlords at Sachs Realty. We're seeing that, tenants are losing their jobs. I just had one of my, a duplex in Baltimore, and both of my tenants in that one house are unemployed right now. So, the stress is high. Get back to basics, get more spiritual, and try and hone in more on your purpose. And then, finally, on the get healthier, is make sure we're sleeping well. They say that adults, we need 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. And a lot of us think that sleep function has everything to do with rest. And it actually, we're putting stuff in our brains all day long, and it actually gives our brain the chance to compute and do more deep filing, and that really keeps us healthier and keeps us firing on all cylinders when we're awake. So make sure you're not lacking on your sleep. Thirdly, I want to talk about new technologies. So number 3 is implementing new technologies. And guys at Sachs Realty, I'm specifically talking to you guys right now, because at Sachs Realty, we have badass tools. These are the things that we've invested in as a company, to make us sharper. And I can see your logins, guys. I can see when you use these things. And I can see when you aren't using them because you're not there. So let's just talk about some of the technologies that we have at Sachs Realty, and that you watching, that if you don't have these, you should be looking into right now. I'm going to give you a couple of resources to some good places to go for this info. So number 1 on number 3, or A, if you want to call it that, is the CRM. Guys, getting back to basics. We know at Sachs Realty we have one of the best CRMs. It's a fact, right? It integrates with our websites that each one of you guys have. And it has the ability, I mean, in our CRMs, they're pre-written trickle campaigns. Every month you get a newsletter that goes out. And we know the fact of the matter is here, people are still reading emails. Bet me, okay? Now, everybody has a host of email addresses, one though, that they look at. And though they may not look at every email, and I get a couple hundred a day, but I know which emails to look at, the ones that interest me. So the ones that I'm not hitting delete or unsubscribe to. So you should be finding a way to be one of those relevant emails and using your CRM to communicate with your people. Okay. We talked about this many times, dropping them in buckets, right? We want to make sure that we can communicate on a mass scale. And I say mass scale. You might have 300 people in your database, and maybe you have 15 different email buckets, right? But what we want to make sure is that when people are scrolling through their feed, that you're giving them a specific email to that bucket, that they're in that bucket. Maybe they're a first-time home buyer, they're looking for homes. You're going to communicate with them, and all you're going to talk about is first-time buying, right? Or maybe it is somebody that is a contractor. Maybe one of your buckets is my contractors. They may be clients, but they also may be contractors. So in that bucket, those emails that you're going to send out to that list are just things talking about them in the contracting world, right? It goes on and on and on. You guys have to decide what your buckets are. Who's in your bucket? Spend the time now, because your CRMs are so valuable. Email's not going away. Also, your CRM is your database for your direct mail, which also isn't going away. We're getting less direct mail, which means you can be more effective. Things that people look at when they get their mail, I promise. Maybe you're giving a physical newsletter, not just with crap in it, but that goes to that specific bucket. Something that interests them. There's an idea. Number 2 is video, like you're watching right now. Guys, the video is blowing up. I think it was in one of our meetings not too long ago. I think it was in February. We talked about, I think the number was 92% of the bandwidth is going to be eaten up. In the next year, it's going to be happening. In 2021, 92% of the bandwidth is going to be dedicated to video. Guys, COVID-19 is pushing us further at this. So right now, YouTube is backing off their bandwidth, the amount of quality they'll allow you to upload or broadcast right now, because they're trying to, with the overwhelming amount of videos that are being made. But video is the number one way to communicate with people. They can see you. You can communicate through inflection. You can actually, really touch somebody and have a good, meaningful conversation. My kids live out of state. My mom, we're, sequestered right now because, so we know that FaceTime, for obvious reason, but we know FaceTime video really means something. So getting good at it. We've been doing it at Sachs Realty since day one. We started not 2.5 years ago. I'm going to give you some good resources right now. Sachs Realty, you're lucky because we have a content creating department, and video for you is absolutely free. You can take advantage of podcasting, doing things like this. Joe right now is recording us through a Zoom program that we have that we can stream to and have a bunch of people in on our party. But I want to tell you guys, there's 2 things I want you guys to look into. One is BombBomb Video. And many of us have heard of BombBomb Video before. But I want to let you know, BombBomb Video right now is free for 2 weeks. So if you want to go by the fact that you should have a good idea where we are with this pandemic in 2 weeks, if you get BombBomb Video today, and by the way, I make nothing. I'm not endorsing BombBomb Video other than the fact that I know it works. And it makes it easy for you guys. But if you get it today, you get it free for 2 weeks, and you don't even have to put your credit card in. So you don't have to think about canceling it. So basically, you can send emails with video with no attachment, where, you know, a lot of the CRMs, you have to put a link. You could do a screenshot and you can hyperlink that to YouTube or Facebook or whatever. But with BombBomb, you actually send the video direct in email. So they just click the button, boom, you start talking. But the tracking is amazing. And I can tell you guys, if you send a video to somebody and they watch it, you can see how long they watched it. And if they go back to it, you can see how long, you know, when they went back to it. You get alerts in real time too when they're paying attention to your video, watching it, engaging. The other thing is, if you're sending somebody a video and you see that they've gone back to it, it's probably a good idea to reach out to them with a phone call, because they're interested in what it is that you're saying for whatever reason. The next one I want to talk about that I learned at a conference, an Inman conference, is called, they actually spoke, it's a brand new startup called Vlog Easy. All right. I think it's $100 a year. But Vlog Easy, basically, you can take your phone or your computer or anything and you can make a video. And what they teach you on Vlog Easy is to basically say what it is that you want to say. And then you can talk about other things. And you pause in between so you can get your thoughts. When people podcast with me and they come into the studio, one of the first things I tell people is, when you feel like you killed something and you did a really good job, just stop talking. Because that gives us the ability that if you mess something up, we only have to re-record that one piece. So with Vlog Easy, you can go back and re-record. You can actually align what you've recorded. But really, once you're done, if you feel you killed it on the first run, but you just pause in between what you're saying, you basically hit the stop button. It processes it, takes out all your silences, your ums, your ahs, your things like that, and allows you to make a pretty good video as an amateur. I tell people, our agents, you guys know, just get up and turn your phone on, start talking to it. A lot of it is just practice. You know, it's funny, Richard's on with us right now. I had to say, Richard and I podcasted a couple times before, and I used to have to say to him, like, dude, like, why are you changing your voice when the play button starts? You know, why is it that you sound like a different person? You know, by practicing video, you're going to be better at just being, you know, you. So anyway, so that's video. So posting to social media, you know, definitely get it out there. Video, text. And then I want to talk about Zoom, something we're on right now. A lot of people don't realize. So a couple, I guess about 6 or 7 months ago, I started doing more Zoom meetings, because, you know, I get tons of people that reach out to me. They want to have meetings, and, you know, everybody wants to go get coffee. Well, I don't have time to go have coffee with everybody. It's like a half hour there, a half hour back. You know, I'm over talking. I'm spending an hour there, and it should be 10-minute conversation. I already know into it. We have nothing in common, and we're not going to use each other's service. But now I have to just be nice and try and find a way to get out. So basically, with Zoom, I started doing this, like I said, 6 or 7 months ago. It allows me to have a bunch of meetings during the day. I can set up a 10-minute meeting. Zoom is free. So you can have up to 100 participants on the free platform. You can have an unlimited number of meetings. The only thing, and you can web conference and conference call, which means that you can share your screen, you could do things like that. The only thing with Zoom, the free version, is you're limited to 40 minutes. So if you do get in that long-winded conversation with somebody that you met on LinkedIn, 40 minutes is terminating your call, man. You're done. So, you know, it's by default, it's going to make sure you don't over meet or over talk. And we can have coffee together at our respective coffee shops or home in this case. So anyway, Zoom, check it out. These are technologies that you guys should be trying. Also Basecamp, we use Basecamp. This is a time management program. You can try it free for 30 days. Again, this is another good tool. It's not free. I think it's $100 a month for unlimited users, unlimited projects now. So, when I first started using Basecamp, like in 2009, I think, it was a lot more expensive than it is now. So technologies are coming down. But what you can do with Basecamp is set up all your to-do lists, your projects for your clients. Guys, Sachs Realty, that you should be using Basecamp every single day. This should be a guide that you really run your whole life by. So anyway, that wraps up number 3 on implementing new technologies. Again, some of these things aren't new technologies. I can't tell you how many other business people that I've met with, we talk about CRMs and they're like, yeah, I don't use it. I don't use one. I know I should. Look, you're home right now. COVID-19, use a CRM, get familiar with one. And by the way, there are a couple out there. Constant Contact's a CRM. MailChimp's a CRM. HubSpot's a CRM. Salesforce, expensive CRM. Most of your companies probably have them. Get them. Number 4, document. All right, so I want to talk about everybody likes to check off a to-do list. If you've ever done a to-do list before, has anybody actually added something on their to-do list to instantly check it off? I know that I have. I mean, you'll stick it on there just because, it wasn't on your to-do list, but you did it. So therefore, you're going to put it on right away just so you can check it off. That's why it's important that we to-do list, because it does feel good when we're checking things off. So, put everything on it. We've talked about it, guys, at Sachs Realty, brain dump. Now's the opportunity to do that. When you're sitting down, brain dump, come up with your to-do list, write everything that's in your brain, in your mind, release it from your brain, and then you can organize it from there. It will reduce your stress, I promise. Organize it according to importance. That's why I like Basecamp. A lot of people say, well, I like my pad of paper. Well, that's great. When you have 300 things on your to-do list on a pad of paper and you want to organize that list, how are you going to do it? You're going to sit there and you're going to go number 1, number 2. Oh, no, this is really number 3. No, this is number 7. No, that's right. This is more important than that. With Basecamp, you can actually just click it with your mouse, hold it down, drag it up, and prioritize it that way. And by the way, with a good digital to-do list, you're never without it. So, if you're one of those that likes the pad and paper, well, when you go to another room in your house, but, when you're actually able to leave and we're back to normal, and these are habits that you're learning while we're in our house now, but if you forget your to-do list, it's on your phone. It's an app. So anyway, plan and goal set. Guys, business plan. If you don't have a business plan, Google it. Believe me, there are free business plans that are out there. Now's the time to really do it. Remember, we're starting our business from day 1 today. Monthly plan, weekly plan, daily plan, an hourly plan. At Sachs Realty, I've shared with you my blocking, my time blocking. We've gone over it time and time again. You need structure to your day, especially now when we're working from home. Journal. I want to talk about a couple things. So one of my daughters gave me this success journal. So you can go to, I think it's called dailygreatness.com. That's what I think. .co. dailygreatness.co. They have a whole bunch of cool journals. This journal really it goes into so much and really helps you to get started in your planning and your thinking and, sort of like also a good checkup, so at certain points in the planner, it helps you go back and reflect. But, really things that you should be going over while planning is, are you documenting is, are you achieving your level of success? So we're planning, but really we want to be documenting, going back and actually saying, are we achieving our level of success that we set out to? And am I seeing results, good results, and why? Why am I achieving good results? What is it that I'm doing that's working? what is it that I'm doing that isn't working? And then that leads really into, what do I need to start more of? What do I need to stop or reduce? What is it that's not good about my schedule or my to-do list or my time blocking? And really, what is it that I can do this month that will give me the biggest results? So that's a good question to ask right now when we're thinking about being home for the next 30 days. We want to think it's 2 weeks, but it's probably going to be more like 30 days. So in the next month, what is it that I want to really accomplish? What's the one thing that I can do to really help me accomplish what it is that I want to do? And then really, be tracking your negative attitudes. When you're not doing well mentally, or you're finding yourself having negative thoughts or saying negative things, or having negative conversations, try and make yourself more aware of it so that you can stop. And then you can combat those negative thoughts with positive thoughts, reassuring why you're great, why you started what it is that you do for a living, why you like helping people. What are your best attributes? What are you really good at? You do more of those things. Really help yourself get out of those, bad attitude time frames, and really, what can you do to be a better leader? So I want to kind of talk about this for a second. So whether you're an employee or whether you're self-employed, one of the things is you're your own CEO. So you're really in charge of you and your performance, and no one else can do it for you. You have to be the one that decides that you want to be great or that you want to accomplish your goals. So one of the things I like to say is, in being a CEO is, really look at who your shareholders are. And we've all had stocks, we've watched them tumble over the last couple weeks, especially the last week. But really, who are your shareholders? So your shareholders, your family, your kids, your friends, your clients. Really, as the CEO, when you're deciding what it is that you're doing every single day for your business, for yourself, for your health, for your wealth, are you really giving your shareholders the return on their investment that they're invested in? And if not, really start looking at that and making those changes so that you don't get fired. Would you hire yourself? If you were hiring somebody to be you, would you keep them around, or would you get rid of them? And then finally, I want to talk about number 5 on the things that we should be doing while we're at home and self-quarantining for the most part. Pick 3 things that you will learn and take away from this situation that you won't stop. So, guys, great things are going to come from this. Like I said when we started, we've been focusing on technology. We're really fortunate that we have advanced or shortened the learning curve. And a lot of you have heard us talk about it, but you haven't really embraced it. So what is it that you're going to learn? Maybe for some, it's that you should be cooking more because we're not going out to eat as much as we used to. Maybe it's meal planning that you thought was really great, and you're going to continue that even beyond, and we can go back to whatever normal will be. Is it you're scrutinizing spending? Is that something you want to keep for forever? And try and put that into your storehouse. Maybe we've spent money on things that we shouldn't have, and we've eyeballed those now and canceled them because we're in this, unknown on how long this will last. Maybe it's working from home. Maybe you'll decide that you want to do that more. Or maybe it's, we're business owners and we're saying, hey, this isn't so bad. We really don't need this big office. Maybe we can have our people work from home. Maybe that's a thing that is going to stick. And then really video conferencing. Maybe you're going to learn that this is a great way to do business and that it's a more efficient way and that you can serve more people better because of it. So whatever that is, guys, I hope that you pick 3 takeaways. That's the top 5 for this strategy meeting. And basically at this point, If you'd like to hang on with us, you're more than welcome. We're going to open it up and kind of, take any questions that we have, from anybody that has sent them to us, or really talk to our people that are logged on right now with us, and get their thoughts and some of the ways that they're working through this. So anybody have anything they want to add? Not everybody talking.
Hey, can you just, I was taking notes, but I'm not sure that I got which one was the 5 points. So can you just hit the 5 points so I can number the right notes I took?
Yep. Let's talk about it right now. So point number 1 was to get back to business basics.
Yeah. Got that.
Healthier. Point number 3 was to implement new technologies. And maybe these things aren't new. Maybe it's just getting familiar with the technology that you've had, though it will be new. Number 4 is to document. And I'll post these notes that I have as well. And then number 5 is to pick 3 things that being at home, that you've kind of adopted and that you want to continue.
All right, thanks. I missed number 4, so that's what I was missing. Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. Anybody, Clark?
Getting back to business, it is possible. Yesterday, wasn't really an open house, but we had 4 appointments scheduled for a new rental listing that I put on. And I just staggered the people 30 to 45 minutes apart. It was a vacant house. Went in, wiped down all the surfaces with a Lysol wipe. And then before everyone came in, instead of shaking their hands, meet them with Purell. So, and it worked out fine. Everybody kept their distance. They walked in, I stayed outside, and I answered their questions. So it can be done. But like I said, it helped a lot.
Can you give us a little, can you tell us a little bit about what their attitudes were, what their demeanor was?
Well, when they called, a couple people were hesitant, how are we going to show it? And I told them, we're going to keep our distance. And I explained what I was going to do before they went out. The property I would wipe all the surfaces down, all the doorknobs, the drawer pulls. And I said, I'll have Purell there and you'll walk through the property and, sorry, I thought my phone was off. And, we will keep our distance that way. And they were fine with it.
So you just wiped down each time they went out? Somebody came in, somebody came out. You just went through and wiped everything down. That's good. That's great. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
Melissa, how about you?
I feel I've honestly been working on all of these things this week. I think I'm even getting more done here, which is interesting because there's many more distractions here. But it's just, I feel I've been hitting on all 5 of these. On a personal note, I think I'm with my girls every day, but actually scheduling time blocking time to be with them every day because we've had such awesome quality time here. So just like I would with work, I think I need to do it with my kids. So that's just a takeaway from this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Stacy, did you want to add anything?
Well, I've already had set that I was going to work on CRMs, and I'm working on figuring out where I want to farm. But of course, my schedule hasn't changed all that much,
Yeah, sure.
I don't have downtime the way other people do right now, so.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, for a lot of people, I podcasted with a guy yesterday evening on the West Coast. He's a coach. I'm excited to bring his content to you as well. His name's Aaron Keith. And he was saying for him, as a business coach, he's better than ever. And really, he's been working at home for years. So a lot of that hasn't really changed for him. For me, it's driving me crazy. I mean, I'm so hyperactive anyway. Just sitting in the same four walls, I got to get up and just kind of walk around. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. Anybody else? Jerry, we got you on here. We're happy to have you. What's
Yes,
going on in your world?
so gracious of you and the team to allow me to be here today. I really appreciate that.
Sure.
For
Why don't
us,
you just introduce yourself, Jerry?
so I'm Jerry Lutz. Company that I have is called Seg Energy Solutions, and we help people and companies that have residential, rental, multifamily, and commercial properties to save on their federal income taxes. So we do that by breaking down the components and putting a value on the components that make up that building. And a lot of those components, like the countertops, decorative molding, carpets, cabinetry, can be put into a category that can be depreciated more quickly. So like us, when we do our taxes, the more deductions we have to offset our income, the less taxes we pay. These calculations that the company that I work for does actually gives the owner of the business more deductions early on up front, so it offsets their income so they pay less taxes. So and I save some folks money
It's a good thing.
other ways as well, but that's kind of the 60-second nutshell.
Yeah.
For me this week, well, first off, again, thanks for letting me be a part of this, Todd. I enjoyed your commentary, your advice. It's funny, I was on a call with our CEO, let's see, this past Monday. His message to the team was that a lot of folks that have got buildings had very robust years in 2019, and now some of them may be forced to look at laying off people. Employing us in our application can actually help infuse some money right back in their pockets right now when they need it most. So yeah, we're reaching out to tax professionals, trying to be more visible on social media, just letting folks know what it is that we do. I hate the fact that you can't meet people in person. I'm a social person, like to see people and hug people and things like that, and it's a little challenging right now, but trying to make the best of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and what Jerry's referring to and why he's so important in the real estate business is with cost segregation. A lot of people and the building owners, and believe me, I've had many calls in the last week from commercial owners, and they are just kind of shaking in their shoes, wondering what the heck's going on, because as businesses are realizing, and this has been a trend, that people are working from home. I mean, this is not a new concept, guys. We know this, that, telecommuting has been big. And this is actually forcing people, and they're going, wow, this isn't that bad. I can still conduct business from home. And businesses are going, aha, I don't have to have expensive office space. And it reduces my overhead. It pushes the gas and electric bill to the employee instead of the business. The internet connection to the employee instead of the business. So a lot of these things, they're realizing that there's cost savings in having people work from home. And, there are ways that businesses themselves can monitor the tracking and success of their employees working from home. Their employees are happier in a lot of cases working from home, as Melissa had indicated. But so what they're saying is, what the heck do I do with this building, as these tenants aren't finding it important anymore? So, we know shared workspace in private offices, that type of thing. We work, even though their model, they've had initial trouble, the model is still a good model. So we're trying to help people to think about selling memberships, like gym memberships, to their office building, and actually bringing people in. But what Jerry's specifically talking about is depreciation, accelerated depreciation for building owners. And a lot of people aren't maximizing this. So, the depreciation for like a rental is 27 and a half years, but a commercial building is 39 years. So basically what happens is, you know, in like a straight line depreciation, and I'm not a financial advisor and don't claim to be, but I am an owner of real estate. And I know that, you know, by dividing, just typically you take your structure, divide it by the 27 and a half or 39 years, that isn't really an accurate account for real depreciation, because certain items like carpeting and landscaping or things that could actually be accelerated, roofing, things like that that don't have 39 years of life, actually can be accelerated in depreciation so that you can take that sooner, and that means tax savings. So, you know, not to plug Jerry, but just to inform you guys that if you're investors out there and you're not taking advantage of these things, Jerry and Melissa, let's go ahead and we'll put Jerry's information in our show notes too, so they can reach out. I mean, that's how much we appreciate Jerry and his relationship as to what we do in serving commercial investors or residential investors of real estate. So anybody else? Joe, do you have any takeaways you want to talk about?
No, I'm good. I'm good on the side.
As our master creator. Say again?
I said I'm good on this side.
Todd,
I'd like. Side. Okay, buddy.
I liked your comment. I hadn't really thought about who are your shareholders, and looking at even, you know, family, that type of thing. That was a pretty good perspective. I like that. So that was a good takeaway for me.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes we forget. You know, and I want to talk about that for just 2 minutes. Planning. Some of the most important things that we need to do in our life are the most neglected. So for whatever reason that is, whether it's health, you know, whether we know, you know, lose weight or be more fit, but we don't want to plan and we don't want to take the time to do it because it's pain. You know, it requires effort. You know, we make decisions based on emotion. So, you know, when we feel like doing it, and that's really not the way to go about it. So the important things, because no one's going to do it for you. Planning your business. We spend more time planning on a vacation. I guarantee if you're going away on vacation, you're freaking not forgetting to pack your bag, and you're going to spend so much time laying it out on your bed, you know, thinking about it, going to the store. Everything you need for that 7 days or 10 days is going to be in that bag, right? Or if it's not, you're going to have a backup plan, like plenty of credit cards in your pocket that if you do forget something, you got plenty of resources to buy it. So why is it that we don't do that for the important things in our life? Why don't we do it every day? Why don't we do it for health? Why don't we plan for our health better? Why don't we plan for our life better? Why don't we plan for our family better? So with what Richard was referring to, you know, being the CEO and your kids being your shareholders, you know, I'm not perfect, guys. You know, I've made a ton of mistakes in, you know, raising my kids and being a husband and being an entrepreneur. And I'm learning every single day I'm a human being. But, you know, really keeping it in a perspective and understanding, you know, if we are the CEO and our wives or our husbands and us, we go to work for 8 hours or 10 hours. Are we maximizing? Are we doing the right things? Are we time well spent? So that when we're giving them the results, that they're saying, hey, look, I'll be without you for this time, or I'll back you in your business. I'll support you in your efforts to start your business or your career. You know, is it something that you're doing the return, giving them the return on their investment that they're going to continue to invest in and go, hell yeah, these guys, my husband, my wife is hitting out of the park. They are taking our investment seriously, and the kids, you know, mom and dad go to work. You know, they're doing it. They're doing the best thing that they can for me. And, you know, and I'm invested in them because I need them. And it's important what they're doing. Or are they fighting with you or struggling with you or telling you that, you know, you work too much, you're not giving them enough time. So, and I've been guilty of all those things. So again, I'm not, you know, holier in saying that, you know, I need help with this too. And part of accountability is you guys, you know, it was funny because I was watching one of my videos the other day and I was learning for myself, and I know that sounds stupid, but is it not the same of going back and documenting? and looking at your notes and looking at your history and going, oh yeah, that's right. This isn't working well. I should have followed my advice or what I wrote down in the journal before, you know? So anyway, thanks, Richard, for bringing that back up. All right, guys. Well, Sachs Realty, thank you for your time, and to everybody that was on the call and logged in. And guys, thanks for you watching, the audience out there. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and the bell, and so you can get more alerts to our videos. If you're following us or not following us on Facebook, please do so. Also on our LinkedIn page. And if you guys send me a message, I'll do the same for you. I'll follow you back. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Sachs Realty, Maryland broker number 607720, office number 443-318-4514, equal housing opportunity.